Hello, this is Patricia Brooks, and this is Courage Concept number 58. Relying on one sense can lead you astray. Now, in last week's Courage Concept, I shared with you a story about how I was on my morning walk and I felt something in my shoe, and I thought it was a pebble. And so when I got to a place where I could take my shoe off and get this pebble out, I realized it wasn't a pebble. And I immediately thought that my shoe was defective and that I'd have to buy a new pair of shoes or take it to a shoe repair place. But I walked a little bit more and I could not bear the pain. And so I said, okay, what is going on? It's not a pebble. So I turned my shoe over. I looked at the bottom of my shoe, and in between the two pieces of rubber, I saw this rock that was lodged in there real good. And so I rubbed my foot across the asphalt and out popped the rock. And then I took a couple of steps and the pain was gone. I felt immediate relief. And I'm like, I don't have to buy a new pair of sneakers. And I went about my business. Problem solved. But it wasn't. Because the following morning I went for my walk. And about 3 minutes into my walk, I felt in the same foot that same pain. And I thought, oh my gosh, Patricia, you got that rock out. What could be going on now? And so I walked a little bit further. I found a rock to sit down on, and I looked at the sole of my shoe. And there was no rock lodged anymore, but there was something that looked like a nail in there. And so I looked around and I found a stick, and I tried to get that nail, that piece of metal, out of the sole of my shoe, and it wouldn't come. But I got it to come out a little bit. Took a few more steps and I was able to walk on it. But I was careful not to put a lot of pressure on it and to step carefully. And I continued my walk this way. Relying on one sense can lead you astray. And that's exactly what happened to me. I relied solely on how my foot felt in the shoe after I had dislodged that rock. And I thought that the problem was solved. And so I continued, and it was solved for that day. But the next day, I had the same problem. Now, this concept goes to the catalyst for cultivating courage, that is shifting your perspective, because when we are so pulled in by one sensation to the detriment of others that we may experience or have, then we can make a decision or think we've solved the problem when we've just only scratched the surface. Now, this situation is a lighthearted situation. There's nothing wrong with my foot now. I have a pair of sneakers I can walk in. No harm, no foul. However, this concept can have real and dire consequences. I am currently reading The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And in this book, he talks about relationships and how in the beginning of a relationship, you can have this euphoric sensation of falling in love. Everything is grand. And you can think that your relationship is going to be like this for the rest of your life. However, while you're dating and getting to know this other person, there are other things that are going on that you may be disregarding because this euphoric sensation is so strong to you. And you may have some things going on in the pit of your stomach that may feel like yellow or red flags, but you kind of disregard it and think, oh, but this feels so good. He's got to be the one, or she's got to be the one. And so you continue on in a relationship and perhaps make a decision to stay in a long-term committed relationship where later you realize, oh, those things that you felt in your stomach that you disregarded were really warning signs that you should have listened to. But now the relationship has gone further and it's going to be more difficult to get out of. So relying on one sense can lead you astray. Now, in order to help you to work through this idea or to use this concept in your life, one thing that I find is helpful in not allowing one emotion to derail you and have you ignore other feelings or thoughts that come to you is by journaling. So you may be in a relationship, take that for example, that things are going really well and you're feeling really good. You've got this falling in love experience. Well, write that out. But what else are you experiencing? Write out what happens on the date and how your date reacts and how that made you feel so that you can have a bigger picture, more than one sense to look to gauge how your relationship is going and what steps you want to take next. Relying on one sensation can lead you astray. That is all I have for you today. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.